Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming MCS exams happening in May 2026. My name is Nicholas and I'm one of the lead tutors for MCS at TCS. So let's look at the session outcomes. First things first, I'm going to share some tips in terms of pre-scene application because at this stage compared to the OCS exam, your application skills are heavily tested, so you need to have a good understanding of how to deal with pre-scene applications. So I'm going to teach you these things, and then I'm going to direct your attention towards an industry analysis because at this stage, you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. I highlighted these things in last week's first webinar. So as a finance manager, you are directly reporting to the board. So since you are involved with the board members, you have to be conversant with some type of decision making. So your decision making capabilities will be tested. Therefore, when arriving at decisions, you need to have a good understanding of both the external dynamics of your chosen company as well as the internal dynamics. So that's why I'm going to first things first conduct an industry analysis and then direct your attention towards the internal elements of your company, thereby conducting the first part of the pre-scene analysis. So before we get into the technicalities, let me quickly remind you of the upcoming webinars and workshops we have scheduled for you. The third webinar, which is one of the most important webinars, are happening on the 4th of April at 9 GMT or 10 AM UK, in which I'm going to teach you crucial answering and time management techniques. Not just teach you these two techniques, I'm going to take you through one of our mock exams, thereby explaining how we should implement these techniques in the most practical manner. And similarly, at the 4th webinar, I'm going to teach you stress management techniques because at this exam, it's essential that you manage your stress levels. If not, you will end up losing a lot of time. And if you lose time, you are going to, fail this exam. So that's why it's essential that you get your bearings with stress management techniques. And along with stress management techniques, I'm going to also take you through the exam blueprint, thereby directing your attention towards the examiner's comments. And then we are kickstarting our workshop series. And in each workshop, I'm going to concentrate your attention towards each pillar, F2, P2, and E2. Therefore, myself and Jared will be explaining what is contained within each pillar. And also, we will be conducting a masterclass focused on one of our mock exams with the intention of ensuring that you understand how to tackle syllabus areas concerning F2, P2, and E2 elements. And finally, just 2 or 3 days before your examination, I'm going to conduct the final workshop in which I'm going to share last minute tips with you with the prime objective of motivating you. Because if you are motivated, you will feel confident before the exam. And as per the CIMA examiner, if you are feeling confident before the exam, you will feel confident on the day of the exam as well. So make use of these free resources on offer. Get in touch with us on a weekly basis via each of these webinars and workshops, because this is the best way to keep tabs about your performance on a weekly basis. And at the same time, if you have any questions or concerns, you can get everything addressed in each of these webinars or workshops. All right, so having said that, let's try to understand how you should deal with pre-scene application. So first things first, if you are to, before you think about applying pre-scene info in your answers, you need to take steps to know your key information. For instance, you need to have a sound understanding of the business model of your current company. So this time's pre-scene is based on a company which is known as Cartn. So it's essential that you gain an in-depth understanding of both the internals and externals of your current company. So that is why we are sharing a certain set of documents, especially the annotated pre-scene with you, because we have come up with annotations effectively with the intention of summarizing the entire pre-scene. So there's hordes and hordes of information. There's a lot of technical details within this pre-scene, but your life becomes easy when you gain access to this annotated pre-scene, because we have summarized the entire pre-scene for your benefit. And additionally, you need to remember the most important points which appear within the pre-scene. That is why we are going to share this mind map with you. As a thank you gift for attending this webinar. After this session, via the WhatsApp group, I'm going to share this mind map with you, which highlights all the important points which appear within your pre-scene. So in terms of remembering pre-scene information, you need not do anything else. Simply go through this mind map, and the video version is available on TikTok as well. So on your way to office on a daily basis, watch these TikTok videos, or read through this document to constantly keep yourself reminded of the most important points which appear within the pre-scene. So you need not do anything else to remember pre-scene information. Simply refer to this mind map which we have developed, which are both in PDF version as well as in video form, which can be accessed via TikTok. So the first element is, we have taken care of the first element, so you need not worry about knowing key info. Get your hands on the annotated pre-scene and go through the mind map. You will have a sound understanding of both the internals and externals of your chosen company. And also, at this stage, you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. And as a finance manager, you need to know your numbers, because in your title or in your designation, there's a finance element, and you are working within the finance department. Therefore, you have to be conversant with the numbers. That's exactly why. If you had gone through the pre-scene, you would have seen that both Cartn's and its closest competitors' financial statements appear within the pre-scene document. So again, we have tackled this element. You need not worry about numbers or ratios, because we have developed a separate financial set of slides, thereby conducting a financial analysis. And as you can see, we have evaluated the SOPL, keeping things simple so that you can easily gain an understanding of the financial situation of your chosen company. And we have also evaluated the SOFP, or the statement of financial position. And it's crucial that you gain an understanding of the financial standing of your chosen company against its closest competitor. So that's exactly what you can see here. Again, we have kept things simple so that you can easily see how your company is faring against its closest competitor in a financial sense. So the second point is taken care of as well. And when conducting your preparations, you should prepare for possible scenarios, but you have to be open-minded, because any type of scenario can be thrown at you at your exam. So when attempting mock exams, or when developing mock exams, our objective is to cover the entire syllabus concerning what's highlighted within E2, F2, and P2 syllabi. However, we are not in a position to predict the exact scenario which can be thrown at you at your exam. For instance, there are various different syllabus elements which can be tested tied to a diversification or an expansion drive. So we can predict what type of a diversification or an expansion might be tested at the exam. But we are not in a position to predict, and based on this diversification drive or based on an expansion drive, we can specifically predict the type of syllabus areas can be tested, and how each of these syllabus elements might be tested, what type of angles the examiner might look at. So we can, with a 100% accuracy, predict how each conceptual element can be tested, but we are not in a position to predict the type of scenarios which might be thrown at you. So that's why it's essential that you be prepared for anything at the exam. That's why it's essential that you maintain a high level of open-mindedness. So when conducting your prep, I shared a study plan in last week's webinar. So when conducting your prep, your objective is to gain a clear understanding of how to tackle each conceptual element, to gain an understanding of the logic behind each answer. Your objective should not be to memorize anything, because at this stage, you are supposed to play the role of a finance manager. If you are to do your job properly, you have to think in a practical manner. So if you memorize anything, it is not going to help you at your examination. So you have to achieve a high level of open-mindedness, and always remember the scenario which is presented at the exam will carry latest information. So the pre-scene gives you an indication of what has happened within the company in the past, as well as what it does at the moment. But at your exam, fresh information concerning any type of opportunity the company tries to exploit, or any type of a threat or an issue the company is facing at the moment, will be highlighted in each of the scenarios. So that's why it's essential that you are conversant with what happened within the company by having a clear understanding of what appears within the pre-scene. Also, it's essential that you have an open mind so that you are ready to face any type of challenge, or you are ready to deal with any type of opportunity the company is facing at the moment, which will be depicted in each of your scenarios at your exam. So, I'm going to explain how to deal with all these things, how to deal with pre-scene application in a practical manner in next week's webinar, when I'm teaching you answering technique, because rather than teaching you these things in isolation, it makes sense for me to take you through a mock exam and its answer, and then explain how to deal with pre-scene application. So for now, within this week, these are the elements you need to focus on. So, you have to decrypt pre-scene info. We have, developed resources with the prime intention of ensuring that you gain a better understanding of pre-scene info. So, focus on it this week. From next week onwards, you'd gain an in-depth understanding of how to deal with pre-scene application when it comes to developing your answers. And having said that, I'm moving on to the industry analysis. So let's try to understand what this time's industry is all about. So this time's pre-scene is based on a major player in the food packaging industry. And the name of your company, as I mentioned earlier, is Cartn. So this company, as the name suggests, is involved with manufacturing cartons, various different types of cartons. So you'd gain a better understanding when I take you through the internal dynamics of your company. So for now, let's try to understand what this industry is all about, or in other terms, let's try to define this industry. So the food packaging industry usually consists of two main parts. There's a manufacturing element as well as a consultancy element. So major players within this industry are involved with either the manufacturing element, or some companies offer manufacturing as well as consultancy services. So if you look at Cartn is involved with manufacturing food packaging items as well as providing consultancy to its customers. So when directing your attention towards the manufacturing process, this involves the designing, manufacturing, and supplying of packaging for food and beverages. Okay, so players within this industry are involved with designing or addressing the packaging needs in accordance to the needs of customers. And once they have designed something and finalized something with their customers, they end up manufacturing it. And once these packaging material are manufactured, or packaging item are manufactured, they are supplied to customers. And when it comes to supplies, we have to make sure that we supply on time because customers have a tendency to order frequently. So if we do not supply on time, and on top of that, if we do not fulfill the quality related needs of our customers, it will lead to major problems for us. So we have to make sure that we supply on time at all times. And at the same time, we have to ensure that we uphold the utmost levels of quality. And packaging ends up protecting food items, preserving the freshness of food items, as well as it supports transportation, as well as branding. Because if you look at food packaging, any type of food packaging in this day and age comes with the branding of the company. So packaging plays a major role when it comes to ensuring the safety or preserving the food and protecting the food, and ensuring that the food item can be transported effectively. And also it is the packaging is used for branding or marketing purposes as well. And the type of packaging can be divided into three main parts: primary, secondary, and tertiary. I'm not going to talk about these technicalities because I've already covered them within one of the pre-scene analysis videos, which you can access via the student dashboard if you have access to paid content. So in it, we have explained in depth what these three packaging options are. And Cartn, your chosen company, mainly focuses on manufacturing cartons and tubs for dairy manufacturers. So there are so many packaging options out there. What you need to remember is the fact that your company, Cartn, is only involved with manufacturing cartons and tubs. And that's the manufacturing element. Then let's direct our attention towards the consultancy element. So major players within this industry, they are involved with manufacturing as well as providing consultancy. What type of consultancy are we looking at? So these companies offer consultancy to its clients in terms of designing packaging material or packaging items, as well as they help or provide consultancy services to customers to set up the packaging equipment, because without having access to equipment, customers cannot utilize our services, because we are dealing with large customers. Just like us, they are involved with large retail business environments. So in such an environment, it's essential that we not only sell our products to customers, we help them to set up the packaging equipment as well. And this packaging equipment should always be compatible with the cartons and tubs which we manufacture. So what you need to remember is the fact that looking at Cartn, when we are offering consultancy services, it does not mean that we are involved with manufacturing the equipment needed for packaging. We are not involved with installing these machines. We are only suggesting solutions in terms of equipment needed to utilize our services. That's where our services stop. Setting up the equipment and making sure that these equipment are functional is the responsibility of the customer. So we are only into manufacturing cartons and tubs and providing consultancy services so that our customers can set up packaging equipment. So we provide recommendations in terms of packaging equipment solutions. The responsibility of setting up these equipment lies with the customers. Okay, so that's why we have mentioned that Cartn does not produce or supply equipment, nor does it offer installation. And also, I want to direct your attention towards industry trends, because based on these trends, scenarios will be thrown at you at your real exam. So first things first, looking at demand, there is a strong global demand for the type of packaging solutions which we offer, because in this day and age, customers are looking for convenience when it comes to food intake. The demand for this industry is growing rapidly. This is highlighted within your pre-scene as well. If you look at the industry growth trends, there's an upward trend on a year-on-year basis. And there's a huge demand for sterile packaging as well, or in simpler terms, germ-free packaging, because especially when dealing with dairy items, it's essential that we ensure that the packaging is sterile. If not, it is going to impact the freshness and quality of the food item. So that's why there's a huge demand for sterile packaging. And also, packaging should be functional and compliant with laws and regulation. So in terms of functionality, you should have the capability of coming up with unique designs with the intention of attracting customers. And at the same time, so in order to develop these unique designs, you have to work with your B2B customers, get to know what their packaging needs are, and ensure that you address these exact needs when providing your solutions as a company. And also, these packaging solutions which we offer should be compliant with the local regulation, especially given the fact that we are dealing with food items. So when packaging food items, it's essential that we take steps to ensure freshness and quality. Due to some type of a fault on our end in terms of packaging, the packaging solution which we provided, if the food is contaminated, then it impacts both our customers as well as the end consumers of our packaged food items in a negative manner. So it's essential that we ensure that we comply with all laws and regulations. And food safety is a focus, as I mentioned earlier, because if we provide the best type of packaging solutions, it will ensure the safety of the food items, as well as it will extend the shelf life of food. And also there is a growing concern about sustainability as well, because if you look at what is highlighted within your pre-scene in terms of what we are dealing with, or the type of business operations Cartn carries out at the moment, we are not a sustainable company. We are utilizing plastic as well as polythene within our cartons as well as tubs. So because of that, we are not in a position to claim to achieve better or higher levels of sustainability. So we are actually not a sustainable company. However, uh, especially the younger demographics are asking or pushing companies to think about adopting sustainable packaging. So at your exam, there could be a situation where we move away from the current way of doing things and diversify towards a sustainable packaging option. So this type of scenario can be tested. You'd gain a better understanding when I take you through the internal dynamics of your chosen company. And also, there's the demand is driven by convenience as well, because there's a higher emphasis on convenience features and customized print options, which leads to, if we are in a position to address these customized printing needs of our customers, then we are in a position to achieve better revenue in the future. So these are the industry trends, and based on these trends, scenarios might be thrown at you at your exam. So having said that, let me direct your attention towards the pre-scene. So I'm going to explain what appears within the pre-scene. I'm not going to take you through the entire document because we don't have time to do so. Instead, I'm going to simply direct your attention towards the internal dynamics of your chosen company. So on the first page itself, there's an introduction about your company. So as I mentioned earlier, this time's pre-scene is based on a company which is known as Cartn. So Cartn is involved with offering retail packaging solutions. So as I mentioned earlier, our business is twofold. We are into manufacturing cartons and tubs, and at the same time, we are into offering consultancy services in which we help our customers in terms of designing and installation of packaging equipment at customer factories. That does not mean that we are selling equipment or involved with setting up this equipment at customer premises. We are only providing consultancy services. We are only recommending our customers about the type of equipment they should use and the type of vendors who will fulfill these equipment needs. So we link up customers with vendors who are manufacturing these packaging equipment. We are not in the business of manufacturing packaging equipment on our own. And when looking at our business model, it's a B2B scenario, business to business. We are not dealing with end consumers. We are dealing with large retail parties who are involved with food manufacturing or beverage manufacturing. So we are serving the food and beverage industries at the moment. And in terms of size, we are one of the largest packaging manufacturers in a global sense. There are 6 major players within this industry, and we are one of them. So as a major player within this industry, we are enjoying significant strengths. We can exploit opportunities easily compared to a smaller player. And we are holding a lot of patents for packaging designs. Therefore, your knowledge concerning IAS 38 intangible assets will definitely be tested, because at the exam, there could be a situation where we are conducting research and development initiatives with the intention of finding something new, innovative means of conducting packaging operations. And when doing so, your knowledge concerning IAS 38 will be tested. And we are a listed entity. And as a listed entity, we have access to equity financing. I'm going to talk about these things in depth in a little while. So all in all, we are a global company which is quoted within our country of origin, and we are selling to customers throughout the world, and we are dealing with a lot of suppliers who are spread across the world. All right, so having said that, let me quickly take you to through the internal dynamics of your chosen company. Before I do so, let me quickly tell you about the type of packaging solutions out there which are practiced within the industry as well. So in the industry can be divided into, or the packaging solutions can be divided into three main parts: rigid containers, flexible containers, and semi-rigid containers. So in terms of rigid containers, you find cans and jars. And in terms of flexible containers, you get bags and films, as well as various different wrapper types, as well as in terms of semi-rigid containers, you get trays, tubs, boxes, and cartons. So these are the various different packaging options out there. Out of all these options, what you need to remember is the fact that Cartn is only into manufacturing tubs as well as cartons. So we are not manufacturing boxes, trays and whatnot, wrappers and whatnot. We are only manufacturing tubs and cartons at the moment. But that does not mean that we will keep doing the same thing in the future as well. At your exam, definitely you will be tested based on some type of an expansion in which we try to increase our footprint in terms of the type of solutions we offer. Okay, so for now, remember the fact that we are only manufacturing tubs and cartons. Okay, so having said that, I want to take you through the internal dynamics. So looking at the history and the present context of the business, our business was founded in 1960, which indicates the fact that we have been in operation for the past 66 years, which is a significant strength. We know how the market operates, because when you are operating within a certain industry for 6 decades, more than 6 decades, you have a sound understanding of the industry dynamics. And we were listed in our home country's stock exchange. We are located within a country which is known as Holland. So we were listed within the Holland Stock Exchange way back in 1978. And since then, we have been successful. Our trading history has been successful, which is again a significant strength of the company. And the founders of the company left the business in 1983. And presently, as I mentioned earlier, we enjoy two sources of income tied to manufacturing cartons and tubs, as well as offering consultancy services to our customers. So tied to all this information, the examinable syllabus areas which can be tested with regards to stakeholder management. We are a global company, therefore we are dealing with hordes of customers. And on top of that, we are dealing with equipment vendors as well, because when it comes to conducting our consultancy services, we recommend equipment vendors to our customers, which implies that we are dealing with various different equipment manufacturing companies as well. On top of that, we need to rely on suppliers. So we are dealing with a lot of suppliers. On top of all these connected stakeholders, we have to think about our shareholder needs as well, because we are a quoted company. And also we are dealing with 27,000 employees who are located across 27 factories across the globe. So we have to think about our own internal employees as well. So as a global business, definitely your knowledge concerning stakeholder management will be tested at the exam. And also, as a business operating in this day and age, the stakeholders, especially the shareholders, will not only be interested in the financial performance of our company. You have to report in terms of non-financial performance. So that is why your knowledge concerning integrated reporting, or the 6 capitals framework, will be tested. We are reliant on our employees. We are reliant on our innovations or our patents. And we are we have to achieve a better level of sustainability in the future. So considering all these matters, your knowledge concerning the 6 capitals framework or the integrated reporting system will be tested at the exam. And also, concerning the new add-on to the syllabus, as you know, from May 2026 onwards, at the MCS stage, your knowledge concerning IFRS S1 and S2 will be tested. So S1 is focused on understanding the risks and opportunities a company is exposed to when trying to adopt better sustainability, because sustainability does not come free. It comes with certain costs as well. It is not easy to achieve, sustainability. So that's covered in S1. And under S2, climate disclosure requirements are covered. So both these angles, which are add-ons to the syllabus, as I mentioned earlier, will definitely be tested at your examination. And also, since we are a quoted company, your knowledge concerning IAS 33 earnings per share will be tested, especially in terms of the company opting for an employee share option, for instance, will be tested. If so, definitely your knowledge concerning IAS 33 will be tested. And as a quoted company, as I mentioned earlier, we have access to multiple sources of finance, both debt and equity. And on top of that, as a listed company, we can sell bonds as well as debentures. So all these various different sources of funding will be tested at the exam. Also, given the fact that we have access to both debt and equity funding, we have to bear the costs tied to debt and equity. So your knowledge concerning working weighted average cost of capital will be tested along with WSCC. Your knowledge concerning investment appraisal will also be tested, aligning both WSCC and investment appraisal methods. And also, you have to be concerned about corporate governance. This is not actually heavily tested, but the examiner has a tendency to test corporate governance with, looking into 3 different angles. So transparency in leadership is one such angle. And the second angle could be due in terms of the effectiveness of the board in terms of providing leadership to this type of a company. And also stakeholder relations, or how the board deals with stakeholder relations will be tested. So all these 3 angles will be tested at the exam. And also your knowledge concerning segmental reporting will be tested. You need not remember the accounting standard tied to segmental reporting. Instead, the theoretical element or the theoretical basis behind segmental reporting will be tested, especially given the fact that we are operating in multiple markets and we are offering various different packaging solutions to various different customers. So since we are dealing with various different segments, your knowledge concerning segmental reporting will be tested at your exam. Okay, so that's about what your company was up to in the past, and based on it, what type of syllabus areas can be tested. Then I want to direct your attention towards how we conduct our manufacturing operations. So as I mentioned earlier, our business is divided into 2 main parts, manufacturing as well as consultancy. So I want to direct your attention towards how we conduct our manufacturing related business. So as you know, we are specializing in manufacturing cartons and tubs, and we utilize plastic as well as paper when it comes to manufacturing tubs. And when it comes to manufacturing cartons, we have to rely on plastic as well as aluminum and polythene when we are manufacturing our cartons. And we are one of the largest 6 largest manufacturers in the world, as I mentioned earlier, and we have 23,000 employees who are located across the world. We have 27 factories around the world, so we are dealing with a huge labor force, definitely. Therefore, your knowledge concerning human resources management, which appears within your E2 syllabus, will be tested. And we are dealing with a wide range of businesses or a wide range of customers. So tied to this information, your knowledge concerning responsibility centers will definitely be tested. So we are dealing with 27 different factories. So you will have to have the capability to understand whether a certain factory can be considered as a cost center, or whether a certain a factory should be considered as an investment center or a profit center. So likewise, your knowledge concerning responsibility centers will be tested, and definitely your knowledge concerning performance measurement will be tested concerning both the balanced scorecard as well as benchmarking, because in this day and age, as per the balanced scorecard principles, businesses are not only supposed to look at the financial performance. Businesses are supposed to look at non-financial performance elements, because if you get the non-financial elements right, it will impact your profitability in a positive manner into the future. Okay, so as you know, as per the balanced scorecard methodology, we are supposed to look at 4 different angles. So angle number 1 is the financial elements, and angle number 2 is tied to customer satisfaction. And if we fulfill the needs of our customers, it leads to better customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. And when we are dealing with loyal customers, it will impact our profitability in the future in a positive manner. Similarly, you are supposed to look at whether you are operating in the most efficient manner by keeping tabs about your internal processes. So by looking at the internal processes, the objective is to spot non-value adding activities and get rid of them. When you do so, you are getting rid of unnecessary costs, and this in turn impacts profitability in a positive manner. So you are achieving quality in operations, and at the same time you are getting rid of unnecessary costs, and this will impact profitability positively in the future. And similarly, we have to see whether we are future ready. So as I mentioned earlier, we are into innovations. We are innovative as a company. That's why we have access to a lot of patents. So if we keep innovating in the future, we are exposed to sustained profits in the future. And not just now, when we are exposed to, when we are innovative, when we are exposed to sustained profits, we will be profitable in the future, just like we are profitable at the moment. So that's what the balanced scorecard is all about. So your knowledge concerning this element will be definitely tested. And also your knowledge concerning benchmarking, both in terms of internal and external benchmarking, can be tested. So in terms of internal benchmarking, we are running 27 different factories. So we can, find the best practices which are practiced at each of these factories, and find a factory which is doing their carrying out their affairs properly. And then we can share these best practices with other factories within our business. So that's internal benchmarking, in which out of the 27 factories, we select the best one and try to replicate the same methodology, same practices within the remaining 26 factories. So that's internal benchmarking. Also, we can benchmark ourselves with the factories of our competitors as well. In such a situation, we are involved with external benchmarking. So both these angles can be tested at the exam. And also your knowledge concerning cost management techniques will definitely be tested, because when it comes to fulfilling the packaging needs of customers, we have to make sure that we offer a cost-effective solution. So that's why your knowledge concerning cost management techniques will be tested. So you have to be conversant with the CGMA cost transformation model or the CGMA cost transformation techniques, because if you want to totally transform the way in which you create value within the organization, then you are in a position to transform the way in which you avoid unnecessary costs. So it's not easy to achieve. You need to look at 6 different angles as per the CGMA cost transformation model. So any of these 6 angles can be tested at the exam. And also your knowledge concerning activity-based management can be tested, because when a company is involved with complex manufacturing processes, there's a tendency to lose track of costs and how costs behave. So the best solution or the methodology out there is to implement something like activity-based management, which gives you the opportunity to keep tabs of your costs in an effective manner. And also your knowledge concerning target costing can be tested, because when dealing with customers, I said that we are supposed to be cost effective as much as possible. So customers, when they reach us with the intention of fulfilling their packaging needs, definitely they will be hell-bent on sticking to their budgets, because when they seek our help and when we recommend a solution, they have to set up equipment, they have to set up a separate facility, and it is not going to be cheap. So definitely the customers will think in terms of costs. They will try to stick to their budgets as much as possible. So when conducting our costing initiatives, we have to consider the cost related concerns of our customers, and from that point start our costing initiative. So that's an outside in approach in terms of costing, which is known as target costing, which will therefore be definitely tested at your exam. And also, since we are an innovative company, your knowledge concerning life cycle costing can be tested, because let's assume we are introducing a new packaging solution, an innovative packaging solution to the market. When doing so, we have to keep tabs about the costs which we incur, especially at the research and development and the introduction stage. Because when it comes to what the accountants are involved with, they do not account for these costs. So this means that if we forget about these costs, which are huge, at the research and development stage, there are significant investments. The most amount of investments are actually incurred at the R&D stage. So if you forget about these costs, you might end up introducing a product to the market which is not actually profitable, because we have spent a lot on R&D. However, the product is not really performing really well. Because of that, we are not in a position to recover our investment. So it's essential that we keep tabs about all these costs, because accountants are not going to keep tabs about all these things. It's up to the decision makers of an organization to look at the life cycle cost whenever we are introducing a new product to the market, because it's essential that we recover the R&D related costs which are incurred at the very beginning of a product's life cycle. So your knowledge concerning life cycle costing will be tested. Along with it, various different IASs and IFRSs will be tested. So your knowledge concerning IAS 21, effects of changes in foreign exchange rates will be tested, given the fact that we are a global company. We are, conducting our manufacturing operations across 27 factories. And also we are dealing with hordes of customers as well as suppliers. Therefore, we are exposed to foreign exchange risk. So IAS 21 will definitely be tested this time. And also your knowledge concerning IFRS 15, revenue from contracts, will be tested, given the fact that we are dealing with multiple stakeholders. Also, your knowledge concerning IFRS 16, leases will be tested, and both the angles at the MCS stage, both the angles concerning lessee accounting and lessor accounting will be tested at the exam. So, when, for instance, let's assume we are setting up a new factory. When doing so, rather than purchasing the machines outright, we can go for lease agreement. Therefore, your knowledge concerning IFRS 16 will be tested. And since we are an innovative company, since we already hold on to a lot of patents, definitely we will invest on patents in the future. So your knowledge concerning IAS 38, intangible assets, will be tested. And since we are dealing with 23,000 employees spread across the world, as I mentioned earlier, your human resource management capabilities will definitely be tested. So you have to ensure the health and safety of employees, especially those who are working within factories. You should be conversant about how to deal with disciplinary action, how to manage various different teams, how to conduct performance appraisals, and how to ensure that you motivate the employees and retain them within the business. So all these angles are covered within our mock exam. So you need not worry, because we have made sure to cover all these elements. And looking at customers, so I explained about how we conduct our manufacturing operations. Now let's look at how we deal with our customers, and then lastly, I'm going to direct your attention towards the type of consultancy services, or how the consultancy business works. So looking at customers, there is a demarcation of how we generate revenue. So as I mentioned at the very inception, when conducting the industry analysis, I said that Cartn is generating majority of its revenue by fulfilling needs of dairy manufacturers. So we are providing the packaging solutions focused on dairy products as well as substitutes such as oat milk, almond milk, and whatnot. So we generate 48% revenues by fulfilling the needs of these type of customers. Also, we provide packaging solutions focused on those who are manufacturing fruit juices as well as fresh and frozen food. So both these types of customers end up utilizing our cartons, dairy manufacturers as well as fruit juice manufacturers. They end up utilizing our cartons, and those who are selling fresh and frozen food usually utilize our tubs. So based on this information, an examinable syllabus area is tied to CPA and PPA, product profitability analysis and customer profitability analysis, because we are selling various different products. So there's absolutely no point of just thinking in terms of revenue we generate by selling these various different products. Instead, we have to keep tabs about the profitable product categories and get rid of unprofitable ones. Definitely, therefore, your knowledge concerning product profitability analysis will be tested. And also, we are dealing with a lot of customers. Not all customers will be profitable for us. Yes, they will end up generating some revenue for us, but out of the customers, we have to see the type of customers who are the most profitable for us. So that's why your knowledge concerning customer profitability analysis, which appears within your P2 syllabus, will definitely be tested. All right. And digging deeper, let's try to understand the ordering process adopted by our customers and how frequently they order our products. So when it comes to the ordering process, when a customer reaches us to seek our services, what we do is we share our software with them so that the customers can input their design, graphic, and texts so that we end up manufacturing a packaging which is totally aligned with or end up offering a packaging solution which is totally aligned with the needs of the customers, as well as the packaging carry the necessary information as well as the branding which will help the customer in terms of marketing. So the customer designs the graphics and texts, and the customer emails the finalized version, and as per the finalized version, we print the exact specifications within the packaging options we offer to our customers. And the ordering, in terms of the ordering frequency, customers usually place frequent orders. That is why I said that it is essential that we ensure a consistent supply, because if there's some type of a delay or if there's some type of a quality issue, then the customer will end up suing us. And on top of that, the end consumer who was negatively impacted by consuming a food item which was contaminated will end up suing us as well. So there's a huge risk which we might face if you do not supply on time and if you do not ensure the quality of the material or the packaging solutions we offer to our customers. And looking at the packaging applications and sizes, our cartons are utilized to contain milk substitutes, as well as fruit juices, as I mentioned earlier. And looking at our tubs, dairy products such as ice cream and yogurt, as well as chilled and frozen food can be contained within the tubs which we manufacture. And looking at the sizes, we offer 3 standardized sizes, 200 milliliters, 500 milliliters, and 1 liter. And large cartons are usually utilized by supermarkets, and smaller cartons are utilized by retail shops as well as food outlets. And sometimes when fulfilling the needs of these smaller customers, we might have to supply straws as well, because as you can see, there could be smaller cartons, and these smaller cartons should come with a straw which could be in plastic or paper. Okay, and in terms of durability, packaging should withstand temperature changes, because these packages will be transported across the world. So our packaging should have the capability to deal with changes in temperatures, as well as our packaging should survive international transportation as well as storage within warehouses. And looking at how we provide our services to our customers, if we dig deeper, let's try to understand in what form we sell cartons and tubs to our customers. So looking at cartons first, we supply cartons as rolls of laminated paper. So it is up to the customer to utilize these rolls of laminated paper, put it into a machine, and fold these material into cartons. So we are not selling cartons in a preformed manner. Instead, we are selling cartons as rolls of laminated material or laminated paper. And the plastic caps, which are utilized within these cartons, are supplied separately. So what are we doing? So I'm talking about something like this. I'm talking about this is what a carton looks like. So we are supplying the two elements of this of such a carton separately. We are supplying the plastic cap separately, and also we are supplying the rolls of laminated material separately. And once a customer receives these two elements, the customer at their own factory is supposed to utilize machines to fold the material into cartons. And these folding techniques as well as these machines will ensure that all the seams are sealed so that the cartons are leak proof. And then the cap is sealed with a plastic strip to ensure that no one can tamper with the carton once the packaging is sealed. So that's how the carton operations work. So what you need to remember is the fact that we are not supplying preformed cartons. Instead, we are supplying the rolls of laminated material and the caps, and it is up to the customer to utilize their own equipment and fold this material and form the carton and fix the lid on top of it. So this is a highly automated process. That's why we are in the business of consultancy as well, because just because we supply these rolls of laminated material and plastic caps, the customers are not in a position to assemble them on their own. That's why we need to offer consultancy services in terms of helping customers figure out the type of equipment needed to get these cartons to its intended shape. And in terms of tubs, we are in the business of supplying plastic and paper tubs, and the customers need not fold the material. Instead, we are selling preformed tubs. These are preformed within our own factories, and we are supplying them to our customers, and lids are supplied separately. So this is what a tub looks like. There's no tub here. Let me show you what a tub looks like. So this is typical. This is a typical tub you'd see in the market. So both these elements, the tub as well as the lid of the tub, are separately shipped to our customers. Okay, so and the lids are supplied separately, and the shapes enable efficient shipping because we can stack these tubs on top of each other, thereby saving a lot of shipping space. And at the customer's factory, machines fill these tubs with ice cream, yogurt, or whatever, and machines attach the lids as well. So that's how we serve the needs of our customers. And tied to all this information, the possible exam scenarios which can be tested in terms of quality related issues. There could be some type of inconsistency in terms of the material which we sell, or the tubs which we supply to our customers. There could be defects as well. If there are defective packaging material or defective tubs, then it impacts the end customer's experience, and therefore the end customer as well as our B2B partner or the customer who ended up utilizing our packaging solutions might end up suing us. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if our own supplier supplies us with poor quality raw material, it will impact the relationships which we enjoy with our customers, because when poor quality raw material are supplied to us, we will end up utilizing these poor quality raw material to manufacture the tubs or manufacture the material needed to manufacture cartons. And this in turn will impact relationships we have with our customers in a negative manner. And also, there could be a scenario tied to quality failures or defects at the customer's factory being blamed on us. So there could be some type of an issue within a factory of one of our customers. And due to this issue, let's assume an end consumer ended up consuming a contaminated food item. So the blame can be passed on to us. So based on this, a syllabus or a certain syllabus areas can be tested. So that's why we have considered this scenario when developing our mock exams. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we are exposed to legal risks due to regulatory changes as well. So if the regulations change, especially concerning sustainability, we might be impacted by lawsuits as well as compensation claims. And we are exposed to sustainability issues as well, because as I mentioned earlier, we are utilizing plastic when manufacturing our tubs. We are utilizing plastic when manufacturing our cartons. We are utilizing polythene as well when manufacturing our cartons. And cartons are not easily recyclable. So this indicates the fact that we are definitely going to face sustainability issues in the future. And also, we might be exposed to performance management issues as well, given the fact that we are dealing with various different factories, 27 factories in total. So there could be performance issues. And on top of that, there could be customers who are complaining about performance issues in terms of what we supply or the type of consultancy services we offer to them. And also, since we are dealing with 27 different factories, we might be exposed to dysfunctional or suboptimal behavior. And also, there could be instances where your knowledge concern in transfer pricing methods will be tested, because let's assume a situation where one of our factories run out of supplies. And when this is the case, this factory might reach out to one of our 26 remaining factories with the intention of getting the supply issue sorted. So in such a scenario, your knowledge concerning transfer pricing can be tested in two different angles. Angle number one is with the intention of testing your capability of suggesting various different methods of transfer pricing and whether each of these methods are suitable to Cartn. So that's the first angle. And the second angle is tied to you having to explain the practical problems in determining a transfer pricing method for your chosen company. So your knowledge concerning transfer pricing will definitely be tested, given the fact that we are an international company. And as an international company, as I mentioned earlier, we are exposed to foreign currency risks. So your knowledge concerning foreign currency risk management initiatives or risk management strategies, rather, will be tested at the exam. So tied to all these scenarios, the probable examinable syllabus areas are business risks and mitigation. You have to have the capability of identifying business risks and therefore coming up with appropriate mitigatory strategies. There's no way to memorize these things, because when suggesting risk mitigatory strategies, or when it comes to identifying risks, you have to rely on the information which is shared with you via each scenario. That is why I said that it's essential that you maintain an open mind, because you cannot memorize everything which is tested at the MCS exam. Instead, you have to come up with answers which are logically sound. And also, your knowledge concerning costs of quality will be tested, especially given the fact that we are dealing with so many stakeholders, and also our customers are reliant on us in terms of quality. So your knowledge concerning costs of quality will be tested, and quality management initiatives or techniques such as total quality management or TQM will definitely be tested. And as I mentioned on multiple occasions, your knowledge concerning the CGM cost transformation model or the cost transformation techniques will be tested. Your knowledge concerning responsibilities will be tested, along with performance measurement, transfer pricing, as well as conflict resolution. Definitely, you will see a scenario which is based on a conflict between us and our customers, or one of our customers, or it could be multiple customers. So when dealing with these customers, various different customers, we will have to face issues. And Therefore, your knowledge concerning conflict resolution or conflict management strategies will be tested. And also, whenever we are exposed to some type of a conflict, this is where your leadership capabilities come into play. So your knowledge concerning leadership techniques will be tested along with communication capabilities. Also, your knowledge concerning IAS 21 will be tested, given the fact that we are an international company, therefore we are exposed to foreign exchange risk. And also your knowledge concerning IAS 37, especially if we are facing some type of conflicts which had led to legal issues. IAS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets will be tested at the exam. Again, you need not worry. We have covered all these elements across the 6 mocks which we have developed. So that's how we conduct our manufacturing elements operations, as well as I've also highlighted how we deal with our customers. And then I want to direct your attention towards the second element, which is tied to consultancy services. So we provide consultancy to design and install packaging equipment. That does not mean that we are involved with the installation element. We are only getting in touch with our customers with the intention of understanding what their packaging needs are. And based on understanding these packaging needs, after understanding these packaging needs, we end up suggesting a solution so that they can fulfill their needs in the most effective manner. So we provide consultancy packages and consultancy services and the type of solutions which we offer to our customers should be compatible with our cartons and tubs, because after providing a solution, if the customer finds out that the solution is not aligned with what we offer, what we manufacture as a company, then it makes absolutely no sense. The type of consultancy services on offer makes absolutely no sense. And on top of that, our recommendations or our solutions should be compatible with the client's production line or the client's production or packaging needs as well. So our employees who are involved with the provision of consultancy services must have 2 things in their mind. First things first, what we recommend should be aligned with our own internal capabilities, and also what we recommend should be aligned with the needs of our customers. So as I mentioned earlier, we are not into manufacturing or selling the equipment. We are not into installing the equipment as well. Instead, we utilize our expertise and recommend solutions to our customers, and we recommend vendors to our customers as well. It is up to the customer to get in touch with their preferred vendor and get the equipment sorted. It is not our responsibility, and most of our clients are keen to use our expertise. Why is this the case? We have been in this industry for the past 66 years. We are one of the largest players within this industry. When this is the case, the customers are going to be totally reliant on the services which we offer in terms of consultancy. And looking at the staff members within this consultancy arm, there is just 800 design and technical staff working for us, and we have just 6 offices around the world. This is quite normal because you don't have to offer consultancy services as often as conducting manufacturing operations. So there's just 18 design and technical staff, which indicates the fact that we are dealing with knowledge workers, and they are located in 6 different areas of the world. And looking at the design and work process carried out by our consultancy employees, clients get in touch with our consultants and brief our consultancy teams about the type of food products they offer, and therefore they explain the packaging needs to our customers, to our team members, and the team considers the type of packaging which is suitable for the customers. It could be a carton or a tub. So recommending the right type of packaging solution is up to our consultancy team. And also they determine the sizes as well as per the needs of customers. And also they determine about the food's temperature when the food items are packaged as well. So the team considers all these three elements before recommending a solution to our customers. And after understanding the needs of our customers, this team ends up designing a compatible system. And they also provide detailed recommendations on the type of equipment models they should install within their premises. And therefore, as I mentioned earlier, they link up the customers with various different manufacturers of equipment or various different vendors. And also our consultancy arm is involved with providing assistance in terms of planning the installation of equipment. So when conducting a manufacturing process, especially when you are automating processes, you have to think in terms of how effectively you can use your space and how you can cut costs by effectively managing your space or designing your manufacturing process. So that is what our consultancy team is into. And clients purchase these machines externally and install them, and new systems mostly replace the old manufacturing systems. And looking at the pricing basis, when it comes to offering consultancy services, we are supposed to look at these three elements: the estimated time to complete work, because our engineers or consultancy staff members are paid on an hourly basis. So before providing a solution, before reaching out to a customer, we have to keep tabs about how much time it would take for us to complete work in terms of the consultancy services on offer. And also the cost depends on the seniority of engineers assigned, because senior employees will have to be better paid. And if we are exposed to cost overruns, we might have to bear it if there is some type of an issue tied to us getting our estimates wrong. The additional costs should be borne by us. Alternatively, let's assume we came up with a foolproof plan, but when it comes to implementation, the customer screwed things up. If that is the case, the customer has to bear the additional costs, because as I mentioned throughout this webinar, we are not in the process of setting up equipment. We only provide consultancy services. So we have to think about the estimated time to complete work. We have to get our estimates right. If not, we have to bear the brunt of it. We have to bear the additional costs. And on top of that, we have to, in terms of managing or identifying our costs, we have to think about the seniority of engineers assigned. If we are dealing with complex manufacturing processes, or if we are providing complex packaging solutions, then we should rely on senior engineers. Or if we are dealing with a smaller client, then we can rely on normal or junior engineers. All right, so based on all this information, the possible exam scenarios which can be tested are in terms of a mismatch between the equipment which we recommended and its availability. So we might end up recommending a certain vendor to set up the equipment, but the vendor might say this model is out of production. So there could be conflicts arising if this is the case, because clients rely on us when it comes to consultancy services. And when we recommend something, when our clients get in touch with vendors, when the vendors say that they are not in a position to offer the services, then it leads to a rift between us and our customers. And also there could be issues tied to installation instructions which we deliver to our customers and the way in which the customer ended up installing it. There could be discrepancies which in turn leads to complexities or conflicts in the future. And also our consultancy team might end up misunderstanding client requirements. If so, we will end up giving the wrong solution. If so, this leads to bad reputation and bad customer relationships. Also, there's a risk of inappropriate or incorrect recommendations. Even after identifying the exact needs of our customers, our consultancy staff members might end up recommending something wrong, which is not aligned with customer needs. These things can happen. And also, there could be situations where the client miscommunicates, because when dealing with customers, scope creep is a problem, because once we finalize a scope, the customer keeps on changing the scope and or adding various different phases or various different elements to the scope, which leads to scope creep. So these type of problems might be tested or thrown at your exam, and costing and pricing related issues or disputes, because when we end up providing suggesting a solution, we say that it is going to cost this amount of money. But if we get our plans wrong, or if the customer, when setting up the equipment, is facing some type of an inefficiency, this leads to disputes concerning costing and pricing. And also, we have to deal with staff recruitment and retention issues as well, especially given the fact that it's essential that we retain our knowledge workers, which make up this consultancy arm of our business. And also, there could be a scenario tied to us diversifying into equipment manufacturing at your real exam, because at the moment we are not into this, but definitely this type of a diversification makes sense, given the fact that on top of providing consultancy services, if we can set up the equipment as well, this is going to drive additional revenue streams for the company. The profitability will be through the roof, because when we are handling consultancy and equipment setup, this is going to expose us to scale related advantages. So such an expansion initiative, such an expansion drive will definitely be tested at the exam. If so, if we diversify into equipment manufacturing, we have to do it on our own. We might have to handle the diversification on our own, which is known as organic growth, in which we are growing on our own. Alternatively, we can acquire an equipment manufacturing company, which is known as inorganic growth. If so, we can move into this industry extremely fast, but it's going to be costly, and we might be exposed to certain issues when we try to acquire another company, because we have to deal with their own employees, their own systems, their own culture. So all these things, when dealing with all these different cultures, systems, and people, this might expose us to conflicts as well. So tied to all this information, the examinable syllabus areas are business risks and mitigation, because the way in which we conduct our business, as well as the way in which we conduct our consultancy services, we are exposed to various different risks, as I explained previously. Also, if we go for some type of a diversification, if we try to expand, definitely we are going to be exposed to additional risks, and you should have the capability of identifying how to mitigate each of these risks. And prime risk is tied to contractual inadequacy, because when we are dealing with various different parties, they might not stick to the contracts, or we might not come up with contracts which are foolproof, which exposes us to contractual inadequacy risks. And also, your knowledge concerning customer profitability analysis will be tested, as I mentioned earlier, and your knowledge concerning business ecosystems will be tested, especially if we go for some type of a diversification or an expansion drive. So you should gain a clear understanding of how this type of a diversification is going to impact the current business ecosystem, or how the current business ecosystem should change to accommodate this type of a diversification or an expansion drive. And also, your knowledge concerning when dealing with these various different types of changes, your leadership skills will be tested, and also your negotiation capabilities will be tested, as well as conflict resolution capabilities and communication. All these things are highlighted within your E2 syllabus. And also, various different data analytics systems and methodologies will be tested at the exam, especially focused on big data and business intelligence systems, because big data and business intelligence systems, if we have access to them, we are in a position to take informed decisions, especially when dealing with multiple stakeholders, and especially when opting for diversification or expansion in the future. And also, given the fact that we are dealing with hordes of employees, both factory employees as well as knowledge workers, your knowledge concerning human resources management will be tested. And when dealing with each and every client, each and every customer, we can consider it as a separate project. So your knowledge concerning project management will be tested. Alternatively, when we go for some type of a diversification, let's assume we diversify into equipment manufacturing, then it is another project. You can consider it as another project. Therefore, your knowledge concerning project management can be tested, and any type of acquisition related topics can be tested at the exam. Again, you can rest assured because we have covered all these elements when developing our mock exams. All right, so having said that, it brings us to the end of the first part of the pre-scene analysis. I hope you gained a good understanding of what this industry is all about. I hope you gained a good understanding of the internal dynamics of your company, especially concerning the two business arms and concerning the type of customers we deal with at the moment. And I also hope you gain a good understanding of what we strive to achieve in the future. So having said that, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on this, I'm on the MCS page. So if you're yet to create a free user account, click on this button and create a free account. Once you have created a free account, you'd gain access to the student dashboard, via which you'd gain access to free resources, which includes the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops, a mock exam, its suggested answer, and its answer plan, as well as you'd gain access to our exam platform, which is the exact replica of the Pearson VUE system on which you'd attempt your real exam. So you have the opportunity of attempting mock number 1 in its entirety under exam conditions via our exam platform. Also, if you're yet to join our WhatsApp discussion forum, click on this button and join it. Once you're in this group, we will keep you guys informed of the weekly webinar and workshop commencement dates and times. And at the same time, if you have any questions, you can raise your concerns, and we are sharing hordes of free resources via this WhatsApp group. So if you're yet to join it, please join the WhatsApp group. And also, talking about what we offer two main packages, the essential course and the premium course. The essential course is designed for those who have completed their OTQs, P2, E2, and F2 OTQs. So since you have learned your theory, you are in a position to figure out application on your own. Since you have completed OCS already, you are in a position to tackle MCS on your own. So if you are one such student, simply go for the essential course. So the essential course comes with 6 mock exams with suggested answers. We have made sure to cover 55 questions in total, thereby covering the entire syllabus to make sure that you are not walking into the exam with knowledge gaps. This comes with pre-scene analysis videos, 5 videos in total. Once you have watched these videos, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the internals and externals of your company, along with the financial standing. You will also gain access to the annotated pre-scene industry analysis and financial analysis slides. You saw what these resources look like a while back. You will also gain access to the top 10 likely issues slide, a case study familiarization kit. This familiarization kit will give you information about the technicalities behind your exam. And also you have access to a tutor managed live chat and OTQ revision card. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you cannot remember a certain conceptual element, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards. In a jiffy, you are in a position to brush up your knowledge concerning each conceptual element. So the value course is priced at £249. And talking about the premium course, this comes with a pass guarantee. And the premium course is intended for those who have failed the exam previously, and also focused on those who are coming through the exemption route, such as FLP or management gateway. So both these sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theory knowledge and issues with application, and with the intention of teaching you all conceptual elements and at the same time teaching you application, we have included some additional resources under premium on top of what appears under the essential course. So under premium, you would gain access to the online mock exam platform on which you can attempt all mocks under exam conditions, which is the best way to practice your answering, time management, and stress management techniques. I'm going to take you through the exam platform in next week's webinar. Then you will realize how effective it is for you to practice each mock under exam conditions via our exam platform. And also, you are not only getting access to the mocks and suggested answers, you are gaining access to answer plans of all mock exams. So this is what a typical answer plan looks like. So rather than having access to pages and pages of suggested answers, when you have access to these type of summarized versions of each suggested answer, or in other terms, when you have access to these type of answer plans, You can easily decrypt the logic behind each answer. You can easily see what type of points you should include concerning each conceptual element, and you can easily figure out application. And this is going to be extremely beneficial for you when it comes to revision. I'm going to explain all these things in depth in next week's webinar. And this comes with 20 masterclasses as well, and 20 plus masterclasses as well. And in each masterclass, these masterclasses are 100% aligned with the mock exams which we have developed. So in each masterclass, the objective is to teach you the logic behind each answer, and at the same time, teach you the theoretical concepts covered within each mock exam, also teach you application. Those who are coming through exemptions, they struggle with application a lot. So this is the best tool out there, because you are in a position to figure out theory and application by watching one single masterclass. So there are 20 plus masterclasses covering all of our mock exams, and you are also getting in-depth tutor feedback on 2 mock exams, namely mocks 4 and 6. And this is the type of feedback on offer at TCS. As you can see, we evaluate each and every point, each and every paragraph, with the prime intention of ensuring that you understand your shortcomings, because the objective of seeking this type of feedback should be to understand your shortcomings, because when you understand your shortcomings, you are in a position to avoid them when you conduct revision. Take steps to avoid them when you're conducting revision. So this is a type of feedback on offer, and we offer general comments as well. And also we offer marks on a subtask by subtask basis. We have also indicated a success rate as well. By looking at this at these success rates, you can easily figure out which subtasks were substandard, and when conducting revision, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. So that's a type of feedback on offer. And when you have access to all these things, you can pass for sure. That's why we are providing a pass guarantee on the premium course. So if you end up investing on the premium course, and if you fail, and if you score between 70 to 79 marks, then you can claim your pass guarantee. Therefore, you'd gain access to the premium content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. So the premium course is priced at £749, which can be paid in 2 installments of £374 each. Or if you opt to pay in full, you will end up saving £100. If so, the price is just £649. And you might be planning on sitting for the exams happening in August. Then you can invest right now and start your preparation, so that you have a couple of months of additional time, which is going to be crucial in terms of preparation, especially concerning revision. And let me quickly, before I wind up, let me quickly tell you what you're supposed to achieve within this week as per our study plan, which can be accessed within our website itself. So we are in week number 2, and this week is dedicated towards decrypting your pre-scene document. So watch the pre-scene analysis videos. So I've taken you through the pre-scene partially. Watch the remaining videos as well to gain a sound understanding of the internals and externals of your company. After doing so, refer to the annotated pre-scene on your own, thereby revising your knowledge, and also refer to the industry and financial analysis slides, again, revising your knowledge about the industry and the financial situation of your company. So within this week itself, finish off the pre-scene, because from next week, things are getting serious, because from next week onwards, you have to start attempting mock exams on a weekly basis. So in order to start mock attempts next week, you have to really focus on the pre-scene this week. And I hope you will take steps to start your preparations right now, because you simply have, something like 6.5 weeks until your exam. So time is precious. There's a lot to get done. So finish off the pre-scene within this week, so that you can focus on mock attempts next week onwards. So don't attempt any mocks within this week. Wait until we are done with the answering technique webinar, which is happening next Saturday at 10 a.m. UK or 9 GMT. This should be 9 GMT. Okay. So that's that. And we are happy to say that we achieved 88% pass rate in November 2025. And this individual ended up scoring 106, moved from 78 to 106, simply by adhering to our study plan and utilizing our resources. So you can achieve a similar feat if you are disciplined enough to stick to our study process. Having said that, opening up the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you can switch on your mic and talk or drop a message via the chat. So let's see. I think some questions have come through already. Muhammad is asking, can we get the notes mentioned on the right side? Probably you are talking about the annotations. Yes, if you invest on the paid content, you will gain access to this document, which is the annotated pre-scene. So this annotated pre-scene is available under both the essential and the premium courses. Janaka is asking a question, are you sharing this note with the free webinar students? I'm not sharing the annotated pre-scene, unfortunately. However, I will be sharing this document, which is the pre-scene mind map. This does not come with all the evaluations I mentioned. Instead, this consists of the most important points which appear within your pre-scene document. I hope I addressed your concern. And Becky is asking a question, can we please get the recorded version? Yes, definitely. After this session, the recording will be uploaded to our YouTube handle and also to our student dashboard. I will be sharing this via the WhatsApp group as well. Okay, any questions, folks? If you want, you can switch on your mic so that you can have a chat with me. You can unmute yourselves. Any questions? Mac Harold is saying, I have seen CIMA has updated the material. Yes. From May 2026 onwards, the syllabus was changed. But if you look at MCS, this is not a major change. Only syllabus elements concerning sustainability was added, especially concerning IFRS's S1 and S2. Okay, so you have to be really conversant with sustainability elements, both financially and the non-financial elements. Other than that, you need not really worry because it's quite the same as what you saw at MCS exams previously. I hope I addressed your concern, Mac Harold. Tehas is saying, is the mind map video available to us who aren't on TikTok? Yes. If you are on YouTube, I don't know what you call them, YouTube Shorts, is it? This comes in short versions as YouTube short versions, and if you are on Facebook, you get shorts or stories or whatever. So you have the opportunity of accessing them via any type of social media platform. I hope I addressed your concern. Mac Harold is asking another question. If you have already completed the competencies prior, do you need to revisit the material? Not exactly, because if I'm being honest with you, you just have 6.5 weeks at your disposal, especially if you're sitting sitting for the exams happening in May 2026. So you do not have time to revisit theory. Instead, stick to the study process, which I spoke about, and take steps to master each mock exam by adhering to a 3-step approach. We have highlighted this within the website itself. You need to stick to a 3-step study process with the intention of ensuring that you walk into the exam without any knowledge gaps and you have tackled application. So rather than wasting a lot of time trying to revisit theory, simply focus your attention towards conducting prep based on the mocks, because by watching masterclasses, you can easily learn theory and application in one single place. And then you're not just supposed to learn theory by watching masterclasses. You are supposed to redevelop answer plans on your own with the intention of cementing your knowledge, with the intention of ensuring that you are capable of replicating TCS's answer plans. So this is the process which you need to stick to rather than wasting time, because FLP resources will teach you theory, definitely, but it is not going to teach you application. So that is why you need to have access to the master classes, because via these master classes, the prime objective is to teach you the theory as well as teach you application. So the easiest form of figuring out theory and application is by watching these master classes, and your preparation should not stop there. After watching each masterclass, you're supposed to redevelop answer plans with the intention of solidifying your knowledge. When you have done this, you need not worry about passing the exam. I hope I addressed your concern, McHarald. Anything else, folks? Any questions about your company, about the pre-scene, about the industry? Have you read through the pre-scene before attending this webinar? Or after listening to what I have had to say, do you have any questions? To resume the recording. Okay, folks, thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. And if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Visit our website and click on the contact button and drop us a message so that our admin staff can get in touch with you via email during office hours. And alternatively, you can email us at info@study@tcs.com, or if you need instantaneous support, you can reach me via this WhatsApp number. And I urge you to follow us on our social media handles, especially YouTube and TikTok, because the recorded versions of the weekly webinars and workshops will be uploaded to our YouTube handle, and also via TikTok. As I mentioned earlier, you have the opportunity of gaining access to 6 videos, which is the 6 different parts of the pre-scene mind map. So on a daily basis, keep watching these TikToks so that you are constantly kept reminded of the most important points which are highlighted within your pre-scene. And also, I urge you to read our blog post as well. If you visit our website, you'd see a blog button, click on it, and then you can gain access to the blog which we have developed focused on Cartn. This is a good summary of the entire pre-scene. So on a weekly basis, maybe if you keep reading this, you will keep yourself reminded of what your pre-scene is all about, what your company and what your industry is all about. And having said that, it brings us to the end of this pre-scene analysis. I hope you gained something out of this session. And in order to gain a deeper insight of what your company is all about and what your industry is all about and what appears within the financial statements, I invite you to watch the remaining pre-scene analysis videos, which are available under the essential and premium courses. And if you have any questions, drop me a message via WhatsApp, or you can simply drop a message on the WhatsApp group, because the intention of going through the pre-scene is to come up with various different scenarios on your own. So come up with scenarios, think about scenarios. Don't simply rely on what we have mentioned within the pre-scene analysis videos. Come up with your own scenarios. And if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, raise them on the WhatsApp group, because myself and Jared, we are always there to assist you guys with your preparation. So thank you very much for joining. I expect to see you guys next week, in which I'm going to teach you crucial answering and time management techniques. And I'm also going to explain how to implement these 2 techniques in a practical manner, thereby taking you through one of our mock exams and its answer. And in the meantime, before attending next week's webinar, I hope you will complete watching the pre-scene analysis videos so that you need not worry about the pre-scene anymore. So thank you for joining. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, take care and good night.